So self-worth and valuing yourself goes hand in hand with self-respect and self-acceptance. This is such an important aspect of your life because it gives you the confidence and the strength you need to succeed. Without it, you're simply placing limitations on yourself. Hello friends, Angel here. We keep going with our video series on personal leadership. And just to kind of give you a little brief summary of what we've talked about so far, we talked about that personal leadership addresses you as the leader, your technical, psychological, and moral development, and how it impacts your leadership presence, your skills, and your behavior. Personal leadership is how you take your leadership to the next level. Personal leadership has three key elements: your technical know-how and skill, the right attitude towards yourself and others, and personal self-mastery. My area of focus for this videos is on self-mastery. Now, self-mastery emphasizes self-awareness and command over your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Now, in order to achieve all that, you need something called leadership presence. And again, this is all in the first video, personal leadership, on my YouTube channel. So if you want to watch that, feel free to pause this video, watch that one, and then come back to this one. Before you watch that one, there's a personal power one, and then you can come to this one. So leadership presence, it's important in the development of your leadership presence as a central key to personal leadership. So let's talk a little bit about the definition of presence. So presence, at its root, is talking about wholeness, the wholeness of who you are. It's the rare but attainable inner alignment of self-identity, purpose, and feelings that eventually leads to freedom from fear. Presence reveals itself as a magnetic radiating effect you have on others. You know, when someone walks in the room and you just say, man, that person has a beautiful presence, you know? That's what I'm talking about. And so it's really when you're being your most authentic, genuine you. And so when someone walks in with that kind of a presence, you give them your full respect and attention. Now, as a leader, because this is all about personal leadership, as a leader, we must be technically competent. Of course, you got to have the right skills, the right training, because that's part of how other people respect you. But it's mainly your own genuine presence that inspires people and to really respect you from a genuine, true place, not from a place of fear, right? But from a genuine place. And it also prompts people to trust you. Now, each person has an authentic presence. Again, it's genuine to them, it's unique to you. And there's 7 qualities, right? We talked about this in the first video. The 7 qualities of personal presence or your leadership presence are personal power, which we talked about that video. That's our latest video, which is command over your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. High real self-esteem. Number 3, the drive to be more, learn more, and grow more. Number 4, a balance of your sense of purpose with a concern for other people while respecting their free will. Number 5, intuition. Number 6, being in the present, being in the here and now. And number 7, inner peace and your sense of fulfillment. In this video, we're going to focus on high real self-esteem. Let's break that word down a little bit. So let's talk about the word self. If you watched the video on personal power, we talked about the word self. And the word self is just another way to refer to our subjective existence. So the word self essentially means your self-identity, your sense of identity. The word esteem deals with the respect and admiration you have for something or someone. It's usually for another person. Now, when you put that together, the word self-esteem, it's your individual subjective evaluation of your own worth. And it encompasses your beliefs about yourself and your emotional states. So we're talking about your own evaluation of your own worth. So we're talking about self-worth here. And self-worth is your sense of your own value or worth as a person. not as whatever job you have, not as whatever roles you think you play in life, as an individual person, as you are. Now, there's a quote by Scott Peck, who's an American psychiatrist, and he's a best-selling author. He's known for his first book, The Road Less Traveled, which was published in 1978. He said this: until you value yourself, you won't value your time, and until you value your time, you will not do anything with it. So again, until you value yourself, you won't value your time, and until you value your time, you're not going to do anything with it. So for those of you that are out there trying to make your dreams come true, trying to go after a goal, trying to go after just make your ideal life a reality. Maybe it's your ideal career. Maybe it's just you want to open up a business. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. Whatever that may be. Maybe it's you want to date the girl of your dreams or the boy of your dreams. Maybe you just want to be in great physical shape. Whatever that is. Until you value yourself, you won't value your time. So achieving your goals, here we go, at the root, starts with your self-worth, the value of yourself. And self-worth and valuing yourself goes hand in hand with self-respect and self-acceptance. And this is such an important aspect of your life because it gives you the confidence and the strength you need to succeed. Without it, you're simply placing limitations on yourself. And I have a question. How do you expect other people to appreciate you, to value you, to respect you, if you don't do that for yourself? Now let's talk a little bit about self-esteem, self-acceptance. So self-worth, again, it's your positive feelings about yourself. Self-worth, positive feelings about yourself, how you feel about yourself. Self-esteem, it's dependent on your self-description, the way we say, do, feel, think about ourselves, our mistakes, our failures, our triumphs, our successes, your own integrity, responsibility, the domains over your lives, whether you deem those important or not. Self-acceptance, on the other hand, it's unconditional. It's not dependent on anything. It's non-judgmental of self, non-judgment of myself, self-acceptance. And it's completely independent of self-description, what I say, do, and feel about myself, etc. All those other things that self-esteem depends on, self-acceptance, it's independent of those things. Now we're talking about high, real self-esteem. We're talking about a genuine concept of self, not like being conceited or being on a high horse kind of a thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about high, real self-esteem, being authentic, being genuine. Again, coming from your own unique presence. So I want to give you the characteristics of people with high self-esteem. And I want to ask them in the form of questions so that you can do a self-assessment. Do you think you're worthy of living? Are you self-confident? Do you accept yourself unconditionally? Do you seek continuous self-improvement, personal development, personal growth? Do you have peace within yourself? Do you have good interpersonal relationships? Do you assume responsibility for your own lives? Or are you a victim? Is what's happening to you someone else's fault or something else? How do you deal with frustrations? Do you tolerate frustrations well? Are you assertive? Are you outgoing? Are you willing to take calculated risks? Or are you playing it small and safe and staying in the comfort zone? Remember, nothing grows in the comfort zone. Are you loving and lovable? And are you self-directed, self-motivated, self-driven? There you have it. I hope you can use that as a self-assessment of where you are in terms of your own self-esteem. And in part 2 of this video, this is part 1. In part 2 of this video, we're gonna focus on the do's and don'ts of valuing yourself. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss that video. Take care.